Everyone, Ryan Nelson here. We're just still going through the book of Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, and today we're on chapter 5, verse 25 through 26. And this is what it says. It says, and this is Jesus speaking, and he just got done speaking about having anger with your brother. And so this is a perfect segue on how do you resolve anger with your brother. There's a little bit of history and some pictures of Christ in this verse. So here we go. Come to terms quickly with your accuser while you are going with him to court, lest your accuser hand you over to the judge, and the judge to the guard, and you will be put in prison. Truly I say to you, you will never get out until you have paid the last penny. Now, whenever someone in the Bible, if you remember, we talked earlier, says truly, that is saying this is a matter of fact. Okay, this isn't like an opinion. This is how it is. It's a statement of true affirmation. There's no relative thought here on Jesus. He's saying this is the truth. Now, before we get into the verse, I want to talk to you a little bit about what he's referring to. Now, a lot of times we read this and we think about a modern court, like we're going to court. That's not what he's talking. He's talking about he's living in the Roman society. He is completely 100% referring to the way the Romans handle their court system. And in the Roman world, if you were arrested by an accuser and you were on the road and you were chained or in a jail and you were on the road to see a judge, to be to have judgment placed on you, or to have a trial. If on the way you could settle with your accuser, now let's say you killed one of their sheep. I'm just making something up. You accidentally killed one of their sheep, and on the way you said, well, the punishment. And when we get to the judge, it's probably going to be $500. But I'll give you $100 right now. I'll just go ahead and give you $100 right now. Then we don't have to go all the way down there. They can chain me, and everything is okay. And they let you go. Now, there are also punishments. Let's say you accidentally killed someone. Let's say you had a son of a man, and he was working with you in the field, and they fell off your gate and died. And they were like, well, you're going to go get your judgment, and they're going to take you to Rome, or they're going to take you to a judge or a governor, and they're going to judge you. On the way, if you say, please, sir, it was an accident. I didn't mean to do it. I will give you a year's wages if we can avoid getting to Rome, because when you get to Rome, or when you get to your governor or judge, you will not get mercy. And that's what Jesus is talking about. You want to settle with your accuser before you get to the judge, because in the Roman culture, when you got there was no such thing as 10 to 20 years. It was 20 years. Now, when you look at American court system, you can negotiate your way out of it, and they call it a settlement, but it's different. Here, when you settle, it's done. You don't even make it to court. Whereas in our system, we call a settlement. You get to court, and then you end up settling. It's different. It's not the same type of settlement. Here, you are completely let free once you pay the wage, and once you come to an agreement. And so, there's two pictures here. One is Jesus telling us how we are supposed to treat our brother. We're supposed to treat our brother. If we have someone that is accusing against us, or we are accusing them, we should try to settle the matter before it gets so out of hand our relationship is lost and there is no mercy and just complete hatred. Because right before this, he talks about hatred in the heart and how you need to settle before you give sacrifice. He's saying the same thing. You need to settle with your accuser before you make it to court. But there's a second picture, and this is the bigger picture that is in Matthew chapter 5, verse 25 and 26, is that it's the picture of Christ. See, just like the Roman system of justice is the same justice of God. See, God is our accuser. He's our accuser because of our sin. And if you've sinned one time in your life, you are 100% guilty of the full punishment of God. And the full punishment of God is almost like a threefold system. One is you deserve, it doesn't matter if you just lied or murdered, the ultimate punishment of that is complete, utter separation from God. So we are there, we don't have relationship with God while we are in our sinful state. The second thing is when you die, you will get the eternal wrath of God. And the eternal wrath of God is just complete separation where there is no love, there is no mercy, and you are surrounded by darkness and evil for eternity. And you might think, well, that's a heavy hand of justice, just like the Romans. That God is perfectly just. If you really understood how perfect and holy and great God is, it would be unthinkable that we would get to be in His presence. Period. Based on how selfish and how much corruption we have in our heart, and so God is our accuser. We deserve the punishment 100%. But what's cool about this is just like in the Roman world, we're born and we are locked in chains and we're in a cage. And right now we're being taken to the governor. We're getting taken to the judge, God. But on that path, on that way to the governor, the judge, which is God, Christ intervenes and He settles on our behalf. He settles. He says, Father, here's the deal. I'm going to go and I'm going to take the wages of his sin and I'm going to go and receive the punishment he deserved. And that is going to satisfy your settlement. Then we get the chains broken off and we are set free. See, this is a powerful verse. And to be real, I've never heard it spoken this way before. I kind of saw it as I was reading it. It's like, this is Christ. This is Christ. And if you understand the Roman system of government and what Christ is referring to, you can really see it. He says, truly, I say to you. That's what brought my attention. It's serious when he says, truly, truly, I say to you, you will never get out until you have paid the last penalty. So for all of your sin in your life, you will have eternal separation. And the thing is, there is not anything you can pay to get out of the eternal separation from God, from hell. You cannot pay to get away from it. You cannot pay to get away from the wrath of God. But Christ settled on our behalf, so we don't have to pay the full price. He paid it for us. Now that's amazing. So I want you to look at this. I mean, this is one of the best verses I've read and just pulled out of over the past month. Is right here. You see Christ telling people how to treat your brother and your accuser, and then he turns right around using the example of the Romans, and he lives it out right in front of us. And then you see Christ chained, Christ innocently accused, but takes the blame, takes all of our sin. You see him walked to the cross, and he doesn't get partial punishment. He receives the full 100% punishment. He pays every last penalty on the cross. I love this verse. I mean, it just now made my top 5 after going through it today. But I hope you've enjoyed this and understand the gift of the settlement that Jesus had done on our behalf, so we could live eternally in a perfect relationship with him. I hope you guys have a good day. God bless.